Afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join me today during the strategic planning presentation. Thank you for making your lunch break shorter. And I hope you will enjoy this journey with me today. I'm excited to take you on a journey, a strategic roadmap towards transforming Waterberg TVET College over the next 5 years. This presentation will reflect my strategic plan development through consultation, research, alignment, and national and international priorities, and especially incorporating the module studied this year as part of a postgraduate diploma in leadership and management. Think of this presentation today as a journey. We'll explore our destination, the terrain we must navigate, the vehicles we are going to drive, and the stops we will make along the way. The departure point, why strategic planning? Strategic planning is an essential process for higher education institutions due to the increasing complexity of the educational landscape and the growing demand on colleges. Strategic planning in higher education involves making well-informed choices. A strategic plan is a long-term, 5-year roadmap that sets strategic goals. It is a compass of a college that guides long-term direction. It helps us navigate uncertainty and ensure our college remains relevant, responsive, and resilient. We will be guided by several road signs on our journey. We will look at the vision and mission statement of a college, strategic context and the dual approach, the SWOT analysis, the 5-year strategic focus, performance metrics and KPIs, strategic objectives and key initiatives, consultation and stakeholder engagement, and also resources and sustainability. And then at the end, we will conclude. Every journey needs a map that needs to be updated sometimes, as some road maps are closed or turned into one-ways. For 2026 to 2030, I revised the college's current vision and mission to be forward-looking and realistic. The revised vision commits us to empower students through inclusive, quality vocational education that fosters sustainability, livelihoods, personal growth, and holistic well-being. The mission outlines how we will achieve this through responsive, industry-aligned training, entrepreneurship, and long-life learning. These statements were revised after engagement with modules like PFO and LMD 700 and KGG 731, which highlighted the importance of instructional leadership, sustainable development, and well-being, currently not seen as a priority at the college. I also added wellness to our values because we know that academic success depends on the emotional and the physical well-being of staff and students. Our values, integrity, excellence, accountability, diversity, respect, transparency, and wellness guide our culture and decision-making so that together we can ensure success. Now, let's look at the terrain we are navigating. Waterberg TVET College operates in a social-political environment marked by poverty, inequality, and youth unemployment. Our strategic plan responds to these challenges by addressing the social-economic disparities and promoting equality through the introducing of targeted interventions like short skills programs for NEEDS. NEEDS stands for Not Employed Education or Training. Our supply chain management and recruitment policies also support the SMEs, women, youth, people with disabilities, and local businesses to address social-economic disparities and to promote equality. We are also navigating our financial aid and our funding constraints, where we account for challenges like budget cuts and inconsistencies in NSFAS payments, and we explore alternative funding. We are responding to the impact on the social political instability, but includes our risk mitigation strategies to address social political instability, unrest and student protest by developing flexible learning schedules or alternative delivery models. Educationally, we're transforming from NITED to QCTO-aligned programs, ensuring competence-based training that meets labour market demands. We are strengthening our employer engagement by increasing partnerships, linkages with private and public institutions to share resources, funding, and securing internships and work placements for our students and our lecturers. We are leveraging accredited facilities and accreditation articulation agreements, effective utilization of our practical facilities for practical training and entrepreneurship opportunities. We also explore articulation agreements with universities to provide pathways for students seeking further education. We are operating within the PSET system. We serve communities by offering programs that reflect local and economic drivers. Within the African continent and South Africa, we are addressing the triple challenge. We support the Government of National Unity's goals to combat poverty, create jobs, and promote inclusive growth. We are also focused on market-demanded skills and entrepreneurship by transitioning to competence-based occupational training programs that are responsive to demand. And we are also encouraging entrepreneurship. We are operating with a national regulated system. We are one of 50 TVET colleges, and we must consider this national regulatory framework and leverage government funding. Our decentralized campus model with 4 campuses and 2 practical sites enhances rural accessibility, but also presents infrastructure and connectivity challenges that must be addressed. Physical infrastructure includes accredited workshops, a college farm, and a hotel school, which are crucial for providing vocational training entrepreneurship opportunities. Some facilities, however, are not owned by the college. By strategically investing in, maintaining, and adapting its physical campus environment, the college can directly support its objectives of providing relevant, high quality, and future-orientated education. Beyond our local context, we are also shaped by global trends. Digitalization, climate change, and demographic shifts are changing the skills our students need. As a TVET college, we start implementing the dual approach. It is an educational model that combines classroom-based training with structured workplace training. This model is already proven in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, and adapted in countries like Spain. We must emphasize lifelong learning and skills development by expanding flexible program offerings and pathways to cater to learners of all ages, facilitating upskilling and reskilling. And then also we have to respond to the fourth industrial revolution, investing in IT infrastructure, improving connectivity, and enhancing staff training on technology use. Megatrends are automation and green technologies. That means we must prepare learners for jobs that don't exist yet. That's why we started investing in smart classrooms expanding our IT offerings to offer robotics and looking at introducing mechatronics and trying to align our programs with emerging sectors like renewable energy. We're not just keeping up, we are preparing to lead. Now let's look at the dual approach and the rationale for implementing the dual approach in TVET colleges. TVET colleges face high youth unemployment, skills mismatch, and limited employer trust. South Africa's economy requires skilled artisans, technicians, and middle-level workers. The dual system offers a bridge between education and industry. It must be adapted to take existing framework conditions into considerations to implement dual vocational training in line with the country's own educational, social, and economic objectives. Waterberg TVET College adopted this approach through the implementation of QCTO programs. But what do literature say about the dual approach? The dual approach enhances employability. In Spain, the dual vocational education and training help reduce youth unemployment, but it required strong SME engagements. South Africa's white paper for post-school education emphasizes workplace learning partnerships. What did consultations revealed? Employers want work-ready graduates. Students want job-linked qualifications. What is the motivation why we adopt the dual approach? To strengthen our employer confidence in our TVET sector, to reduce our youth unemployment, to support DHET's Decade of Artisan strategy, and to promote inclusive socio-economic growth. How do the dual approach link to our mission and vision? It provides real-world skills training. It supports holistic student development for the academic and in the workplace, and it strengthens industry partnerships to ensure current curriculum relevance. An important part of strategic planning is to analyze the current environment we are operating in. Through a SWOT analysis, I looked at what is the strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for the college. So I inspected the road surface for our journey. For this presentation, I highlighted only a few, but you all can think within your own departments what are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Broad, let's look at our strength. We have accessibility in rural areas, and it is improved by the decentralized campus model, including now Thabazimbi campus. We have accredited facilities that support practical training and entrepreneurship, and we have a functional college council and subcommittees in place. What is our weaknesses? We have limited infrastructure ownership and connectivity challenges hinder expansion. Capacity constraints in implementing the dual approach and work-based learning is also a weakness. And uncoordinated stakeholder engagement and the unavailability of an alumni tracking system. What is opportunities for the college? Opportunities for funding and collaborations are provided by national priorities and partnerships. New program pathways, like the QCTO programs, are made possible by global trends in lifelong learning and digitalization. Training that is competence-based and driven by industry is supported by our QC2 aligned programs. But what is the threats to our colleges? The disruption of academic continuity is caused by social political instability, which includes student protest and delays in NSFAS funding. The pressure to produce employability outcomes is increased by high youth unemployment and need rates. Quick changes in technology make some programs outdated if a curriculum isn't updated frequently. To ensure we manage the terrain and the different road surfaces, the vehicle we will use for our journey is the strategic goal set for the next 5 years. A strategic goal provides the overall direction that aligns with the college vision and mission. The current TVET strategic goals for TVET colleges are set by DHET and are aligned with the GNU through the medium-term development plan that highlights 3 strategic priorities: to drive inclusive growth and job creation, to reduce poverty and tackle the high cost of living, to build a capable, ethical, and developmental state. Each goal is SMART. We will also later in the presentation look at that. And it's connected to KPIs that provides additional credibility to its purpose and its sustainability. What is our strategic goal? We have 4 in TVET colleges. Our first goal is TVET college enrollment reduces the need cohort, or inclusive youth participation in education and training and employment. This speaks to access, and it links to the key performance area, expanded access to TVET college opportunities. Our second strategic goal, if completion and throughput rates in various programs improve, then the number of qualified graduates increases. This speaks to efficiency and links to the KPI improved success and efficiency of TVET systems. The third goal is if colleges are well governed and managed, then teaching and learning delivery is improved and is effective. This speaks to quality and therefore the linking to the KPI improved quality of TVET college provision. And the fourth and final strategic goal, if colleges graduates are adequately skilled, chances of informal or formal employment increase. This speaks to employability, improved responsiveness of TVET colleges to the world of work. When we talk about strategic planning, oh, now my screen, I don't know if you can see it, I'm jumping between 10 and 11. Let's go back. When we talk about strategic planning, we often use terms like KPA, and action plans. And while they're connected, they each play a different role in helping us move from vision to results. Let's start by looking at what is a KPA, or a key performance area. I already mentioned KPIs in my previous slide. A key performance area, we can think of it as the destination we are heading towards. A key performance area tells us what area of a college we want to improve or to strengthen. It's broad and strategic. It helps organize our strategic goals into meaningful groups. For example, access, getting more students into priority programs. Employability, helping students find jobs or start businesses. Quality, improving teaching and learning. And innovation, introducing new ideas and income streams. The next element is our key performance indicator. This is our milestone marker. A KPI is how we measure success in each KPI. KPIs are specific, measurable, and help us track whether our goals are being achieved. For example, the total number of students enrolled in different program types speaks to access and address the KPI. The number of protocols signed with industry to place TVET college students and lecturers for workplace experience. This speaks to the KPI employability. Then our last part is our action plans. This is with GPS directions that guide us from point A to point B. Action plans are the step-by-step route we take to reach our key performance indicators. It includes the actual activities, timelines, resources, and the people involved. For example, to implement QCTO programs, we must identify what resources are needed and the timelines for implementation. When we secure work placement, we must sign MOUs with host employers. Let's find out how these elements work in strategic planning development and implementation by unpacking a milestone on our road. Our first milestone is the implementation of a dual approach model. This KPI builds a bridge between education and industry. It's our response to youth unemployment and skills mismatch. This milestone links to two strategic goals and KPIs. To ensure that KPIs are met, we must look at first what the KPIs are and then to the KPIs. Our first strategic goal that the dual approach implementation linked to is at strategic goal 1 with the KPI of access, expanding access to TVET college opportunities. The second goal, this milestone linked to, is employability. The KPI, improved responsiveness of TVET colleges to the world of work. So let's start at looking what is a KPI and now also the KPIs and how they link with one another. If we look at our first milestone, the KPI built the bridge, like I already indicated, and our first KPI is our strategic level KPIs. These KPIs guide long-term institutional transformation and reflect the college vision and the missions. Strategic level KPIs are targets set for the 5th year, 2030. For example, to implement 10 QCTO-aligned programs by 2030 and to enroll 1,260 students in QCT-aligned programs also by 2030. Our tactical level KPIs. This is KPIs that monitor implementation of our strategic goals, and they are outlined in the college annual performance plan that must be submitted with the 2026-2030 strategic plan for the college. Tactical level KPIs set a target for 2026. For example, the number of students placed for WIL in occupational ministerial programs, the number of protocols signed with industry to place TVET college students and lecturers for workplace experience. We planned a target of 100. And the number of lecturers trained in our dual mode pedagogy annually, and we planned a target of 10. If we look at our action plans, for 2025 and 2026, we must prepare MOUs and lecturer training. And for 2026 to 2030, we must roll out our chef, diesel mechanic, welder, paralegal, bookkeeper, management assistant, poultry farmer, and mechatronics QCTO programs. Let's see how these milestones look in our strategic plan, where planning is done in a table format as per DHET requirements. We have our KPIs, that's on the left-hand side, and then we have our KPIs. As per the milestone for the dual approach implementation example, we will look at the KPI for access. You can see how the plans to implement the QCT program over the next 5 years are explained in this table. Firstly, If we look at our chef and paralegal, remember, we are addressing the dual approach implementation that speaks to, other words, the cost programs. We are offering the Chef Level 5 program. If we look at the target for 2026, this is our target for year 1 is 60 and for year 2 it's 28. But paralegal we are only going to implement in 2027 with a target of 30 students. If we look at our target for 2030, this, remember, is our strategic level KPIs, where we plan for the 5 years. We can also look at the number of protocols signed with industry to place TVET lecturers. If we looked at our tactical level KPIs, we plan 100 students for 2026. For 2030, our strategic level KPIs is 120 students. All goals and objectives set in the strategic plan must be SMART to ensure that all objectives are achieved. Action plans are also developed. But let's first look at our specific SMART strategic objectives. Firstly, our objectives must be specific. We must introduce the dual education through implementing 10 approved QCTO programs by 2030. It's specific. It must be measurable. By 2028, we want to enroll 985 QCTO students, and 27% must be exposed to 80 months of structured workplace learning. By 2030, 60% must secure employment or self-employment within 12 months after completion. Is our objective achievable? We must formalize partnerships with at least 100 local and regional employers by 2026. Is it realistic? We must secure funding from DHET grants, CETAs, NSFAS, and industry contributions. And lastly, all our objectives must be time-bound. For 2025, we must prepare MOUs, we must get our facilities in order, and we must do lecturer training. In 2026, we must roll out our QCTO programs. In 2027, we must expand our QCTO program implementation with programs like paralegal and bookkeeper. And by 2028, we want the full implementation of our QCTO programs. To ensure that all these objectives are met, action plans are developed using a Canvas business model. It is a virtual tool that maps out the 9 building blocks of an educational plan to ensure that KPIs and KPAs are met. Let's look at the action plan for the dual approach. And we are going to concentrate on Chef Level 5 program. I'm not going to go into detail what this action plan and address everything within this action plan, but I will focus on some areas. Let's start on the left. The action plan clearly identifies key partners for the Chef Level 5 program. For example, QCTO and assessment quality partners like CAFCETA and NAM for accreditation, external assessment and compliance. Then we also have DHET and CETAs that are key partners. They are important for funding, policy alignment and bursaries. Then we also have industry. Industries like hotels, restaurants, and catering components are responsible for work placement training, mentorship, and equipment donations. And we can go on with key partners, but let's move to our customers on the right-hand side of the screen. Our primary customers are Need Youth, matriculants, and underemployed adults aspiring to have professional chef careers. We also have secondary customers, that is hospitality employers seeking skilled workers. When we look at this, we also have to identify key resources needed. Our action plan can concentrate on the finance, human resource, facilities, and teaching and learning. When we look at our finance sources, where do we get money from? From DHET subsidies, SETA grants, NSFAS internships, donor agencies, and employer co-funding. But what is the costs and why do we need money for? We need money for accreditation, facility upgrades like our kitchens, for mentor stipends, for the tuition, transport allowances, and for trade test costs. If we move to human resource, we must upskill our hospitality lecturers in chef for a trade, and also one for artisan recognition and prior learning. And I can confirm this staff was already upskilled in 2025 for 2026 further implementation. We must also train 10 lecturers in work-integrated facilitation and QCTO standards by 2026. What about our facilities? We must ensure that we upgrade our kitchens, the cold kitchens, hot kitchens, scullery, the storage, and safety compliance. We also need to invest in industry standard equipment and PPEs. And we must establish ICT-enabled tracking and blended learning infrastructure. When we move to teaching and learning as a key resource, we as a college must deliver 18 months classroom and 18 months of industry-based training. To introduce also blended learning and digital logbook tracking. To implement this action plan, we must look at the cost and determine the cost. With a funding grid, 100% of program costs are covered, but it does not include costs for trade tests, for infrastructure upgrades that are needed, and for safety equipment and PPEs, to mention a few. Therefore, a detailed cost structure with key resources needed to be included in the action plan to ensure successful results. And as you can see, already I stipulated some of the cost, but this is transferred over to our operational budget to make sure that our action plan is costed. Let's also look at 2 more milestones in a shorter version. For milestone 2, lecturer development. Our lecturers are the drivers of this journey. We must equip men to navigate the dual mode delivery. Quality teaching is central to our strategy. We aim to train 10 lecturers annually in dual mode pedagogy, and 96% must be professionally qualified by 2030. Our lecture qualification audit revealed gaps, and this goals response by upskilling staff through SETA funding, continued professional development programs, and industry placements. This supports the KPI for quality and employability. Let's look at milestone 3, entrepreneurship and third stream income. This milestone fuels our journey. It ensures sustainability and empowers students as entrepreneurs. Sustainability requires financial innovation. The college aims to generate 500,000 annually through entrepreneurship, hubs, and services. The services include things like catering from Fruva Hotel School, agricultural production from the college farm, and short skills programs offered for needs. These initiatives not only generate income, but also promote student entrepreneurship and community upliftment. These goals support the KPIs for employability and efficiency. And you will see for all milestones that we want to implement, you need your stakeholders that are very important for implementation. No journey is successful without fueling up and asking for directions. We stop often to ask for directions as consultation ensures our route was relevant and supported. Let's look at our internal consultations. Internal consultations include campus managers and senior education specialists that lead strategic planning, record program priorities and resource shortages, and identify local needs at the campuses. We have academic services that evaluate strategic objectives for instructional improvement, quality control, and for curriculum alignment. Then there's HR and the finance units that participate in staffing plans, resource allocation, and feasibility studies, like I already explained through our action plans. Then facilities and ICT units provide guidance on operational planning, digitalization, objectives, and infrastructure preparedness. At this stage, our SRC and wellness consultation is still lacking as part of strategic planning at Ingva College, and it needs to be improved in 2026. When we look at our external consultations, we look at industry partners, formal consultations with examples Baubaum Mine, ARM, MQA, and other employers that informs the college dual mode delivery, will placement targets, and program relevance. District and municipal structures must also be consulted for the adaptability to local socio-economic demands is ensured by alignment with our CEDA, our LEADER, and local development plans. What is the international collaborations all about? We must measure our implementation of our dual vocational modules to the already established modules of German and the Swiss. And then lastly, community organizations. We must work with NGOs and CET colleges to guarantee that needs, women, and people with disabilities are included in short-term skills activities. Mechanisms for consultation included strategic planning forums that take place every year on campuses and at central office to confirm priorities and to gather inputs. As part of this module, OVT 730 this year, I developed and piloted a gamified change management plan through Moodle, working with data capturers and registration officers to improve cross-campus collaboration and to increase staff engagement with our KPIs and our KPAs. This pilot will be forwarded for full implementation in 2026 for the 2027 cycle, and this is something that I'm very passionate about, and I am sure it will enhance our consultation and stakeholder engagement at the college. Before we hit the road, we need to check our vehicle. We've aligned our resources through our KPIs and action plans with our human, financial, infrastructure, and digital resources to support our goals. To simplify budgeting and planning, the college grouped resources under 3 categories. Human resource, like we already identified, involves our staff, lecturers and admin, facilitators, and consultants. Financial resources are aligned with DHET funding grid and our operational budgets. We've budgeted and secured funding from DHET, CETAS, and third stream income. Infrastructure includes upgraded facilities, smart classrooms, and accredited workshops. Then there is also information systems like our Managed Information System Caltech and our Learner Management System Moodle, and our partnerships with industry, government, and the community. I added support services as another resource to drive wellness at the college, as included now in the mission and vision. Sustainability measures like risk assessment, understanding what could go wrong, what could go right, and how we can prepare for both, as well as contingency planning and first stream income was also alluded to as part of my 5-year strategic plan. Our vehicle is ready and built to last. Through this presentation today, the designation, my strategic road trip, navigating Waterberg TVET College 2026 to 2030 journey, were clearly identified, and you travelled with me to find out how and what is needed to reach our destination. Waterberg TVET College strategically adapts to social-economic challenges, international trends, and technological megatrends to provide demand-driven education and training, ultimately aiming to bridge the gap between learning and employment. I hope you've seen how this plan is both visionary and practical, designed to meet the needs of our students, staff, and community. So where is our final destination? By 2030, Waterberg TVET College will be a model of inclusive, industry-aligned, and future-ready education. We will have strong partnerships, sustainable operations, and empowered students. This journey is not just about reaching a destination. It's about transforming lives along the way. Thank you for joining me on this strategic planning road trip. I want to give you some food for thought. The only impossible journey is the one that you never begin, by Tony Robbins. You are welcome to ask for any questions or make comments, and hopefully I will be able to answer them. The floor is open for any questions. I see there's a hand from Frida. Frida, you can ask.
No, I just wanted to comment and say thank you, Judy. It is a road trip and a half that we took here 5 years ahead. So thank you for a very nice presentation and lively presentation on it. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Frida. There's also a hand from Lucy.
Okay, thank you, Judy, for your presentation. It was really so impressive. You know, I like even the part where you indicated your KPIs, where you have shown that one of the key area of the college is to ensure that we give the entrepreneurial skills to our students. By the way, the programs that the college is offering are based on the needs of the community. So the entrepreneurship skills that will be given to our students means they will be reducing the unemployment problem around the community, and that is very good to make sure that we serve around the community around the college. Thank you so much for your presentation, Jude.
Thank you very much, Lucy. I know I mentioned also a lot of abbreviations. Not all of you, for example, may know. So in my presentation, I also added a slide where you can see the abbreviations used. And then lastly, also, I mentioned some of the literature where we looked at the information, and where you can also see the literature that were consulted for this presentation. I see there's another hand from Lucy, and also, yeah, Lucy?
No, sorry, Jude, I think it's an old hand.
Okay, my apology, there's another LM, and that is for Lucky. Lucky, you have a hand?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. And your presentation was very informative and innovative. And we are being able to look back when we will be attending other strategic planning meetings to say, with this one, what the presentation have presented to us, and it will give us the highlight or the light all the time. And thanks for that. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you very much, Lucky. And then I see there's also a hand from Matlaku.
Thank you very much, colleagues, and good afternoon, Ma'am Judy. The consultation part, the milestone that you did, especially the consultation part, that is the one that stood out for me, where you, in your presentation, you showed how you are engaging all partners to run this milestone. I can't believe this is my college, because as you were presenting, I saw this college going to another stride, like we are moving from one leg to another leg. We are seeing things that we are now educated, we are learned, we are informed. Thank you very much for the thought-provoking presentation, and we are looking forward to 2026. As you are saying in your presentation, you will be selling this to the college so that we move forward, and hopefully the powers that be can buy into it, so that some of the elements, especially the wellness, can be taken care of. We are living in a society that people are frustrated. We have mental health issues. We have socio-economic problems in our country, even in our society and our communities. So I'm glad that you included wellness in your, was it one of the vision, not the vision, but I think it is I saw wellness somewhere.
It's included in the vision, mission, and in the values.
Yeah, the values. So I saw if one is including wellness in part of their values, that means they are taking wellness very serious, and it means that they take the student wellness and staff wellness very serious. It means that they will make sure that our mental health is taken well care of. So thank you very much. We are looking forward to the implementation of this plan. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you very much, Matlaku. And then there's a last hand from Priscilla Muela.
Thank you very much, Judy, for the good presentation. I also think it's very good and very comprehensive and include all the mega trends. And I think indeed, if this can be implemented, the college can go very far. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much to all the colleagues. Remember, this is our plan. This is our journey that we are going to take for the next 5 years. And remember, together we can ensure success. Thank you very much for your time, for your attendance. This meeting is recorded, so I can share the recording with all of you. And I really appreciate your participation today in this presentation. If there's no more questions, thank you very much. and then this meeting or the strategic planning session is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, bye.
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 Bye, Judy.